Piccolo found the sensation strange, despite the fact that the fusion process went by relatively smoothly. It was, in some respects, comparable to how he and Nail had done so the first time on Namek. However, this time, he experienced a greater sense of cerebral calmness. It was a strange experience all around. Some information, though not even memories, were revealed to him after the lock between the pair had been broken and the two minds had become one. It appeared as though he'd always been aware that the Dragon Balls had existed and that the world that surrounded them really had just been kept away from him all this time. But now, no more. These were not strange or disturbing thoughts or revelations at all, though. They felt right. He was also aware that these new memories belonged to him. He wasn't just borrowing them. He simply believed that he had misplaced them at some point, and now he had found them again. Despite this, he was unable to reflect on any of the new things that he experienced during this combination process. He needed to get work done. He remembered that part. As he left the lookout, he made the abrupt decision to travel in the direction of Ginger Town instead of grouping up with the others, which completely surprised Mr. Popo. During this time, indeed, Gohan, Takiko and Trunks had observed that Batsuri was experiencing extreme restlessness while he was fast asleep. It was harrowing to watch and not really be able to help him out in any way. Wherever his mind had taken him, it wasn't a fun place. As soon as he'd opened his little eyes, though, he was far from upset. No, in fact, he was overcome with excitement and joy in seeing Takiko and Trunks, and then he immediately began to laugh hysterically. They hadn't seen him act like this in a very long time, the future pair, and his sleep behavior was the complete opposite of what he was conveying right now. It's great to see you, little buddy, but tell me, had you had a little nightmare? Krillin then was scratching himself in the area that would have been his nose. Guys? Am I the only one who just felt those peculiar energy jumps in the little guy? He plucked up the courage to ask. A nod was exchanged between the group, and then Takiko petted the child on the head. Yes, I can honestly say that that's never occurred to him before, though. He cocked his head to the side to look at Goku, while keeping a watchful eye on Trunks, who was busy tending to Vegeta, who wasn't himself too thrilled about being pampered by some weirdo from the future. Goku then turned his head to look at him. So what exactly are you going to do, Goku? Takiko asked. Goku replied, I'm reassessing my options for the time being. It's imperative that we communicate with Piccolo right now. Those androids are unquestionably stronger than us, despite all of our efforts to prepare for them. Well, you weren't kidding about those two. A sigh escaped Takiko and he rolled his eyes. Yep, this was without a doubt his father. When faced with formidable adversaries, Takiko had almost forgotten how carefree Goku could be in other situations. The excitement of the fight was more appealing to him than the actual danger, which frequently put him in an even more precarious position. On the other hand though, considering that everyone was still alive and present at this time, all present and accounted for, there was still a chance that maybe they could alter the destiny of the future and also be home in time for tea. He sincerely wished that would be the case. Then he had been wondering about where Mr. Piccolo had gotten off to, and what he had been doing wherever he was. Piccolo had gone off to just have a simple conversation with Kami. What could have possibly taken him so long to return? When he thought back to his own timeline, he could recall how tense the relationship between Piccolo and Kami had been. He had massive high hopes, future Gohan, that whatever had transpired between the pair of them would have turned out to be for their mutual benefit. In the midst of a conflict such as this, they didn't require any further division.
Dada, Gohan.
Batsuri suddenly spoke. No, my name is Takiko. Takiko. Future Gohan's anxiety suddenly increased when he realized that the youngster hadn't been fully acclimatized to hearing his pseudonym. So he always just called him Gohan, because that was his name. So the future boy made his best effort to educate Batsuri on his actual moniker here.
Gohan, Gohan.
The chirps of the youngster were infectious. Gohan smiled, completely unaware that Batsuri was actually referring the other guy in his statement.
Whoa, that's absolutely incredible. Oh my gosh, well done, Batsuri. Hey, he was able to say my name.
The news brought a sigh of relief to Takiko's lips. Yes, your name. He looked away and relaxed. That was a close call. Basari almost rumbled him. Again. Whilst this was going on, Piccolo was making his way through to an empty ginger town. Something odd was definitely going on around these parts, as evidenced by the fact that most of the people had fled. They just vanished, and all that was left were just piles of clothes. It was very quiet also. Too quiet. And even though Piccolo had never seen a horror movie in all of his life, he could easily picture that the scene right now would have been perfect, an accurate representation of a horror movie. And it's not like anybody had a simple case of amnesia regarding the clothes and food. This seemed like something had gotten to them before they could take them. The androids couldn't possibly have done this, could they have? No, this didn't seem like their style at all from what little time he had been acquainted with them for. Unless Gero and his sidekick had arrived earlier maybe and had done it, but why would they vaporize the bodies if they were already dead? This made no sense at all. He then heard a commotion. Someone afar was yelling and screaming for help. He ran toward the sound.
Please, I'm the richest man in Gingertown, and I'm able to give you anything that you want.
As Piccolo drew nearer, he observed a towering insectoid creature and a large balding man who was cowering in front of the Bugman.
Hey you, put that man down!
The creature stared at the Namekian with a mixture of confusion and an uncanny sense of recognition on its face. The animal then smiled with what looked like a beak, and in a fraction of a second, it moved its spiky tail in the direction of the man and drank him. What took place after that was, without a doubt, the most revolting thing that Piccolo had ever seen.
Oh, I'm sorry, Piccolo. I hope you can forgive me.
Because of the rumblings in my tumblies, I was unable to pay attention to what you just said. You must understand that a being like me, I felt the need to consume something whilst you were going on and on.
How do you know my name?
Oh, my friend, I know a lot more than that. Although, admittedly, I do not remember you being a dad. Congratulations, by the way. I should try it myself as well at some point. As for the name, you can call me Cell.
Alright. Who are you, Cell?
The big green made an effort to avoid giving off the impression that he was genuinely frightened at this moment. But he was certain that he could be successful in vanquishing the beast in an all-out battle, though. Still, this guy was creepy. But then again, there was something peculiar about the power aura it was exhibiting that encircled the thing, because he could see himself, Goku, Vegeta, and a huge number of other people within it. It was almost as if he were looking into a mirror, or rather, a massive house of mirrors or something. Was this supposed to be some kind of camouflage, he thought?
Oh, questions. Don't you think they'd be more at home in my stomach, my friend?
Piccolo smiled at the beast for the very first time, giving off an air of superiority.
You're welcome to try, but it would appear that I have more surprises in store for you than you thought.
Cell found this posturing rather enticing.
Oh, that's so ominous, Piccolo. It piques my interest to no end.
As Cell's power level increased in response, everyone on the planet could feel it. It was very peculiar. They had an instantaneous ability to sense everybody, all at once, including King Cold and Freezer, and they'd been dead. They soon felt another powerful key, but this time, it had a different quality to it. Alright, one of those energies is definitely Piccolo, but wait, I get it. He fused with Kami, right? Said Krillin, excited that he managed to figure it out. Ten Shinhan, though, was thinking about the other situation that had presented itself.
Wait, does that mean the Dragon Balls don't exist anymore?
Following the completion of that sentence, Bulma came very close, dangerously close, in crashing the ship. As for Krillin, it was nearly brown trousers time. Goku gave a quick glance in the direction of the horizon.
That might be the case, but what about the other thing? Hold on, I'll go check.
Goku, wait, isn't he got... But despite his best efforts, Takiko was powerless to prevent Goku from transmitting right out of there.
Dad's gonna check things out, not to worry.
He then looked around.
Wait, where's Basari? I thought he was right here.
Basari was indeed nowhere to be seen. Every single person aboard the ship appeared to be in a state of complete and utter panic.
Oh my goodness, they lost the baby!
When Goku arrived, he saw Piccolo engaged in combat with a strange insect-like creature that was utilizing techniques that were very familiar to him. But as the conflict dragged on, he also became aware that something was clinging onto his leg and started to make noise. Goku then recoiled to see a young Namekian having hitched a ride.
Aw man, Basari, you can't be here, little guy!
Goku picked up the tiny Namekian, who was enthralled with Piccolo fighting Cell. Cell, on the other hand, was surprised to see the Saiyan Goku still alive and looking fighting fit.
Wait, Goku?
When Kamikolo turned his head toward the ally, he saw, much to his great dismay, that his ally was holding Basari. He brought him here? What? The Namekian then flew into an hysterical rage.
Why on earth would you bring him here, Goku? Why in the world would you do that?
I'm sorry, Piccolo. I had no idea he tagged along. At the precise moment I transmitted out of there, he must have attached himself to my pants or something.
At this point, Cell activated the solar flare. He had no other option at this point but to make a hasty exit. It was more important for him to fight another day with Goku around rather than actually take his chance and fight them both. Cell, he needed to regroup. Piccolo, despite having gotten the reprieve, furiously rounded on Goku, but then he calmed down so as not to frighten Basari.
Everything was going according to plan. Why did you decide to come here? Now Cell's escaped and we don't know where he is. I was curious to find out more about what it was anyway.
Goku ignorantly then asked.
Well, what was it?
Piccolo gritted his teeth.
That's the point, Goku! I was about to find out! Whatever. Hey, how are you, little guy?
Piccolo looked to Basari, but Basari, much to Piccolo's astonishment, was pleased to see him. After having traditionally been nervous of him. It felt good, though, to know that he was rooting for him the whole time they were fighting, because it had appeared as though that Basari had been encouraging him.
Yeah, I showed him.
The first time Piccolo was able to properly pet the baby on the head was a memorable moment for the pair of them.
So, what's the deal with the peculiar energy, Piccolo?
I've no idea, but he seems to be familiar with a lot of the techniques that we used, and he showed off every single one of them.
Goku wandered around and looked at the various garments on the floor.
You could say that how he acquires more energy was quite graphic.
That's horrible.
Piccolo grunted.
I'm not sure what his ultimate goal is, but he seems to know a lot of things. He could be another time traveler or something, I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah, it might have something to do with the new people we'd met. Regardless, we need to question them.
It looked like they were just as surprised as we were, though. I don't think so, but I don't know.
Let's keep our fingers crossed it isn't the time police, or that time travel hasn't had unintended consequences. Let's get together with the others and talk about this.
Yeah, I should probably get Basari back to them, show he's okay.
But then Goku abruptly asked.
You also fused with Kami, didn't you?
Piccolo grinned.
Was it really that obvious?
Goku smiled back.
Honestly, I got a good feeling that you're probably stronger than me now. And I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty exciting.
Despite this fact, Cell had still escaped without providing his side of the story, and the fight with Piccolo had been cut short, despite the fact that Basari was in good health. That is to say, in this version of events, they are still not aware of his plans or his relationships with the android. They just think he's another entirely unrelated bug creature. And even though Goku was actively in the story, Cell might still have the upper hand here. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.